Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another thrilling episode of Prog Review. 601, I believe. This one, Unattended Luggage, or Ignored Baggage, or Drummer's Folly. Yeah, this is a box set by Nick Mason. You might have heard of him. He plays in a band called Pink Floyd, and I know you're all here because you love the Pink Floyd. Don't bother reviewing anything else, just review Pink Floyd. Yeah, so anyway, this is a box set. I've already done an unboxing thing, which you all love. You love that shit. You eat it up like gravy. Go and watch it. Pink Floyd. And they've brought his 3 solo albums, or a solo album and the 2 albums he did with Rick Fenn, into a little boxy. Starts off with a fictitious sports, or Nick Mason's fictitious sports, if you really want to be a pedant. And there will be people out there in the comments that will correct me, so I'll try and be as correct as possible. It's one of those albums. It's one of those albums only the 1980s could produce. It's an oddity. It is an oddity. I say listen to it just purely on that basis. That it is a very odd album. It's I mean. Oh, it's got horns and trumpets on it and stuff, and they say it's jazzy, but it's not really jazzy because it's co-written or mostly written by Carla Bley, who plays keyboards. So yeah, she does most of the she actually writes all the songs, and I guess Mason is there just hitting things. But it's the actual people that work on it that are interesting for me. You've got Gary Window playing tenor, bass, clarinet and flute, among other things. Chris Spedding, the legend that is Chris Spedding on guitar. But more importantly, Robert Wyatt, who does the vocals, apart from the lead track, Can't Get My Motor to Start, which... I just go and listen to this album. Buy it. Look. I'm gonna look. Just buy this. It's only about 15 quid. Just buy it so you can hear this. If you've not heard this record, I forgot. It's been a long time since I've heard it, and it kind of just went. I heard it. I don't know, 30 years ago. 30 years ago, and so I just kind of put it to the back of my mind. I didn't own a copy, but a friend played it to me. So I was like, yeah. So yeah, hearing it again, it's like, oh, I remember you. I remember you. But of course, I didn't realise it was Robert Wyatt singing, you see, because I wasn't that. I was still in my school uniform or whatever when I heard this. So it'd probably be more 35 years ago. Where did the time go? But yeah, it's one of those odd records. Like I said, there are many records like this in the 80s that are very, very bippy boppy. Yeah. I liked it because it is weird, though it is a bit grating, but it is only 36 minutes 15 seconds long, so that's a good thing. Please ignore the dog snoring. She's asleep and she hasn't realised that I've started doing this. Normally she jumps off and goes under the table, so there will be the sound of snoring. It's not the missus, it's the dog. She's a very heavy sleeper. And yeah, there's some nice bits on it. I can't probably name the wrong track. Is it Hot River? It's probably the standoutist track of them. Can't Get My Motor to Start is irritating. So is Boo to You, Do Ya, Worthing, I'm a Mineralist. They're all really kind of irritating, but it's Robert Wyatt that keeps me invested in it. So yes, it's not a great record, but even Mason says it's more, it has, again, I'm reading off the Wikipedia page because that's where I get all the info from because I'm cheating. It has more longevity than the next record, Profiles. So yeah, that's buy it for that. because I think again you get 2 records because it's going to cost you 15 quid to buy it on its own, so you might as well just pick the box up for that. Profiles is a different matter because, like I say, it's a co-write with Rick Fenn, and this one was done in I think it was done in '85, or you believe. I've actually got it on the vinyl because I picked it up for a quid back in the day, so I was more familiar with this than what's it. The only reason to have this is the track "Life for a Lie" because a certain Davy Boy Gilmore sings on it, and it is a bit Pink Floydy, like later Pink Floydy. It's a nice song, "Life for a Lie." I do like that, but the rest of the record, I think the reason I picked this up when I found it in that record shop all those years ago is because Mel Collins plays sax on it, and I knew Mel Collins from King Crimson, so I thought it might be all right. And it's very 80s. It's great if you want to hear the sound of like drum machines. I'm sure Nick Mason doesn't play drum machines, does he? But it's got that kind of real 80s sheen, that you've come to expect from these records. But yeah, like I say, one track, "Life for a Lie." I like that track. I shouldn't like it because the production's a bit whack, but it's got Gilmore on it, and it does sound a bit like something that they'd do on the Division Bell or the other one with the beds on. That one, "Momentary Lapse of Reason." And then that brings us. So I'm playing with them to "White of the Eye," which is a soundtrack to the. I always get the name of the. It's not Douglas. Got it wrong now. Donald Camel. That's it. Who shot himself with a shotgun. Legend has it is he arranged a mirror by his bed so he could watch himself die, and he didn't die instantly. He died. Took a long time to die. And Donald Camel worked with Nick Rogue on a number of films. Performance, which is a classic Jagger film. Go and watch that. It's an amazing film. He also made Demon Seed, which is an absolutely great bonkers movie from '77, which stars Julie Christie, who gets fucked by a house. The house is one of those houses of the future, which has a computer, and it takes over and falls in love with her. The Simpsons did it in one of their Treehouse of Horror spectaculars with Pierce Brosnan doing the voice. But yeah, I love Demon Seed. I remember seeing it as a kid, and I just thought it was great. But I'm not talking about the soundtrack album. Yeah, the soundtrack album to White of the Eye is a bit like Profile, a bit more like an extension of Profiles. It's kind of got that 80s sheen to it. It's inconsequential. I wouldn't necessarily listen to it again. So it's kind of there's a law of diminishing returns here. It gets goes weirdly interesting, but again I don't think you're going to play it very often. But you'll listen to it and go, oh, and then that one's like, but Life for a Lie is good because Gilmore's on it, and that one's like, but for 15 quid, if you've not heard them, you know what I'm saying, it's not bad. I think it's good value. But, somebody said what about getting the vinyl. It's like, well, two of these albums were brought out in the era of the CD and are mastered, I imagine, for CD. So, and two, I'm not going to pay 65 fucking quid for these albums. Do you think I'm mental? I might look mental, but I'm not. Honest gov. But yeah, so when it comes to what do? Do I review the albums? Okay, let's review the albums. Fictitious Sports gets two do-yas out of 5. That's 2 do-yas out of 5. Maybe 2.5 for half for Robert Wyatt's voice. Profiles for me, I mean, and it's another. It just gets two. Really, it's one, but it gets one for Davy Boy Gilmour's vocals on "Life for a Lie," and again, two Mendoza's out of 5 for that. But the whole collection, I think we can score it if we add those up and round it down and think of the number you've thought of and maybe indulge in some sock magic. For 15 quid, 3 albums. And they've been remastered, they've been rejiggered for a modern audience. Yeah, I think it's a good buy if you've not heard them and you're a Floyd fan or a Mason fan or you're just curious. So I'm going to give it a very generous 4 fictitious sports out of 5 just for the price and that alone. But the contents are, you know, it's an interesting buy. It'll probably come down in price. You never know. It might actually drop in price when people don't buy the collection. Anyway, thank you for watching. My name's been Darren. Look, I've been talking about Unattended Luggage by Nick Mason, who's currently doing his Saucerful of Secrets gigs and keeping the Floyd spirit alive because Gilmour's retired, isn't he? He's not doing that stuff anymore. So poor old Mason has to do it. He should just team up with Roger Waters and take the name back. That's what we really want, isn't it? And on that, there's only one more thing left to say, and that is prog on!